I have a session immediately after this, the talk. I think even Dr. Tariq has, he'll be going there only. So, HDMI लगा सकते हैं इसमें? So my topic is to talk about the dosing regimens in AMD, and while the presentation is getting loaded, how exactly, when exactly, how much exactly to give in terms of anti-VEGF in AMD questions is a quintessential question which every one of us has. I'll try to simplify and mainly try to put practical aspects of it. On kara. So anti-VEGFs in AMD, how can we derive the perfect algorithm? Unlike cataract, which we can do just one time, LASIK, which we can do just one time, retinal injections, it's time after time. So if it has not to be an economic burden on the patient, you should ideally have no financial interest here except for the patients. And when you talk about algorithm for timing, we are bombarded with a whole lot of studies. When a whole lot of speakers talk about, they talk about these studies one after the other. And they show off more by presenting a lot of graphs, slides, pie charts, statistics, and so on. And then the pinnacle of enlightenment, they start showing these numbers. And when you have these numbers, especially mark this is called the confidence interval. It's good for the confidence of the speaker, but for the audience, it is nothing but interval, and this is what happens to the audience. So we are here to make the wet AMD dry, not the topic definitely. So let us try to simplify such that even a layman, partly dozing, partly hungry opthal, sitting on a Saturday morning can understand. So once upon a time, the studies all began with this important study, which was Anchor Marina. Now all my studies are going to be presented in one slide, but I'm going to be presenting it one after the other so as to simplify it, where we gave injections at monthly intervals for 12 months, which was very good because the result was 10 to 12 letter improvement and the recurrence was 0, but it came at a big disadvantage. You had more number of injections. There was a risk definitely of stroke and heart disease with anti-VEGF. Most important being geographic atrophy being worse. You see the last clause there. Depending on the number of injections you gave, you see that over here in the top one, the macula is wet, it becomes dry. The person keeps on injecting and all it does is increase the geographic atrophy. A lot of attention is now drawn to this fact with the advent of OCT angiography, where you feel that a little bit of fluid should be kept in the macula because this vessel, though not causing massive leakage, is what is actually nourishing the retina and providing it the health that it has. So we went to the other extreme, and instead of having monthly dosing, we had 2 monthly dosing that reduced the injections from monthly to 2 monthly, which is 6 injections in a year, every 2 monthly given. And what that did, definitely the number of visits and the number of injections came down. It was cheaper. The safety was better in terms of stroke and heart disease, and the geographic atrophy was definitely lesser. But what happened to the efficacy? Instead of 10 to 12 letters improvement, we went down to stabilization of vision. So 0 letter improvement, but yes, vision was stable. And every time you gave an injection till the next one, you had a recurrence. So what was the outcome? That yes, the disease is unforgiving. Can we do better? Definitely. We give the same 6 injections as you see over here, but instead of giving them every 2 monthly, we give the first 3 injections at monthly intervals and the remaining 3 at 3 monthly interval, which was typically what PEER and EXCITE study did. Now what was the outcome of that? Definitely the number of injections remained the same, the safety profile was the same, but the letters improvement became better and the number of recurrences was avoided. So what is the take home here? First 3 injections monthly, yes, definitely the rule. Treat before it recurs. So we can still do better by having these 2 protocols. The most commonly followed protocol here now is the PRN protocol, pro rata basis or as and when needed, and wait and extend protocol, where what you do is you give the first 3 injections at monthly intervals and then you observe every month, and the moment you get a recurrence, you treat again. So what was the advantage of this? Obviously the number of visits increased, but the number of injections only marginally increased from 6 injections to let's say 7 or 8. But the improvement in letters was significant, from 2 letters or 0 letter improvement to 2 to 6 and 6 to 10 letters. And the number of recurrences was avoided because you were treating right at the go. Now can we do this better? Can we treat one step before we actually find clinically significant recurrence? This was this regimen, treat and extend regimen, which everyone follows a lot now, wherein what they did is they injected first 3 injections at monthly intervals, then they observed, extended the interval to 6 weeks. Even though there was no recurrence, you did give an injection, extended it to 8 weeks, but the moment you had recurrence, you again reduce the intervals back to 4 weeks. So what was the advantage here? Though the injections only marginally increased from 8 injections to about 9 injections in a month, importantly, the visual acuity improved from 6 to 10 to 8 to 12 letters. Now you see here, we had initially began with 10 to 12 letters improvement. We now have almost the same improvement with not that much of a risk because we are reducing the number of injections. Treat and extend and PRN protocol both require a lot of intelligence. You have to actually follow up the patient, interpret the OCT, tell the patient this is a time for your injection. You have to actually make out the thickness, recurrence, and so on. Can we do better than this? Yes. Unlike when we use intelligence, I call this protocol as the dumb protocol. Don't use my brain protocol. Wherein what I do, it's framed by me, so myself et al. I give monthly first 3 injections. Instead of giving the 4th injection on an extended basis, I give another monthly. So it will be 4 injections at monthly, then another 4 injections at 6 weekly, and another 1 injection, last one at 8 weeks, and that finishes my year. So what is the advantage? The number of injections remained the same as the treat and extend regimen, that is 9 injections in a year, but my number of visits reduced. Even before the recurrence happened, I have given that extra injection. I have not suddenly extended the interval a whole lot. And I found that the letter improvement was as good as giving monthly injections over 12 months, except that I've reduced the number of injections and its associated risks. Now, people who are pure VEGFs, I would say pure anti-VEGFs, who would like to use only the original molecule, yes, you can use Lucentis in all these protocols as what I've shown here, but you can space it by using a aflibercept or Eylea molecule in between whenever you're trying to extend the interval. And what is the advantage here? Eylea at strategic points where prolonged action is required, tachyphylaxis to Lucentis is avoided that way, and Eylea has better advantage in PD and PCV cases. People who are not pure anti-VEGFs, who can also use biosimilar, you can actually substitute all these Lucentis injections with Razumab, which is a biosimilar of Lucentis, way cheaper, and you can put Eylea at those strategic points. You not only save on cost, but you're optimizing the treatment regimen such that it is not an economic burden on the patient. So the last take-home message, I don't know the timing, but I'll take this last slide. After studying everything that is there in the world on AMD, you realize that you didn't get smart, you just got dumb. Observe and plan protocol is excellent. Treat and extend protocol is very good. PRN protocol is good, but dumb protocol is the best. Treat before recurrence is the key. Whichever regimen you choose, first 3 injections are the key. Biosimilars save costs and have the same efficacy and safety profile. Switch to a VEGF trap at strategic points to avoid tachyphylaxis or repeated use of the same molecule when prolonged action is desired, because they say aflibercept acts for 6 to 8 weeks, or there is poor response to anti-VEGFs due to the presence of either PCV, pigment epithelium detachment, branching vascular networks, or retinal angiomatosis.